Tutor President Martin Lum Kin joins me on the Zoom line to discuss the burning issues, no pun intended there, concerning heat and the, of course, alert that was issued by the Meteorological Office. Very interesting days ahead. Mr. Lum Kin, I want to thank you, as always, for the time and for coming on the program on this Friday morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Williams. Good morning to your viewers. Thank you for having us this morning and to continue to engage in discussion with you as it relates to the issues affecting the education system in Trinidad and Tobago. Sorry.
Indeed. So I'm seeing here heat concerns at the schools. Obviously, the Meteorological Office would have issued a hot spell yellow level alert. My question is, are we softening up? Because granted, when we were going to school, I'm sure we dealt with, well, I mean, I don't know if it was a yellow level back then, but, you know, we had to deal with the heat. Where are we as it pertains to this particular conversation? Because I remember a couple of times I would have raised that particular issue in terms of heat, the talk of AC in different schools. Of course, I know we're not there just yet. But are we softening up? Because heat is nothing new to us and new to the school experience.
So to continue upon the heat is on. No, Mr. Williams, the facts are that there's global warming and the heat that we are experiencing presently, it's unprecedented. One of our teachers took a thermometer into the classroom and got a reading of 36 degrees inside of the classroom. Mm-hmm. And if we look historically at the temperatures in Trinidad and Tobago, we'll see that there are rising temperatures. And during this period, it is really, really high. Looking at the Meteorological Society having to issue a heat alert will demonstrate that the temperatures are really high these days.
So let me ask, is it that playtime will now be suspended? What's the approach, what's the conversation with principals concerning playtime, especially in the primary school system? Children will run up, down, left, right, and center and sweaty up their back come lunchtime. We all know this. What's going to happen to classes like physical education if there is an outdoor component? Are these activities going to be suspended because of this yellow alert?
Well, the recommendation is to have the physical education as early as possible within the school day. Now, granted that teachers would like to have the basic subjects taught in the morning period when children are more alert. So mathematics, English language, reading, etc. is usually done in the morning period. But in this instance, we may have to have, if there is the practical aspect of the physical education, then it should be done in the early morning period when the temperatures are not that high. If there are the other aspects of physical education, not the physical part of it, but the component that you can do indoors, then you do that as well. However, the administration will have to take a closer look at the scheduling of these subjects, and by 10 o'clock, even before, it is really, really high temperatures, and even the core subjects the teachers are challenged to give output, and even the children to learn under these conditions. So we are recommending to our members that they themselves stay hydrated, that they allow the children to be hydrated during the course of the day, not only depend on the breaks that are scheduled, but during the course of the breaks, during the course of the day, allow the children to be hydrated. Parents, please ensure that your children are well equipped with rehydrants, not sugar-based, but those that will give the electrolytes to have them rehydrated. And after lunch, that is even worse. We want to ensure that the occupants are hydrated, because by and large, a number of schools are challenged with cooling devices. We know that if fans are installed, it just blows the hot air, but it is something that, may be necessary at this time, short term, to allow the air to be circulated out.
Yeah.
So that's another challenge that our schools are facing. The way that some of our schools were built did not allow for proper airflow. I've been to Hoover West Secondary, lovely building. There's a large corridor, breeze is coming through the corridor, but it's not getting into the classrooms because of how it was built. And a number of schools are challenged. In Tobago as well, we have the Lambo Anglican, where the ventilation is impeded by tall buildings around the school. And so the airflow is not proper there. Speyside Secondary, which was built for air-conditioned units. And you know, when you build a room for air-conditioned units, the windows are smaller or non-existent, only for light. And there's usually one door. And the AC units are not working properly. Ideally, we would like to have air-conditioned units in all classrooms.
Yeah.
But that's another challenge in terms of it brings a challenge of electrical upgrade. And we know that the Ministry of Education and the division are challenged by economic situation. And in this instance, we are not objecting to external agencies coming in
yeah.
and assisting. So you have the Adopt a School program. We believe that that program should look at installing cooling systems in the classrooms, upgrading the electrical first, but then doing the necessary installation. And you have to always remember very quickly that these units need to be serviced.
Of course.
In a quick time.
Let me ask you really quick as we deal with the AC issue, and I want to segue into some other talking points very soon. Most principal offices, and I would imagine the staff room, would be also under AC, right? I'm trying to think now of at least my school experience. I remember the office, principal's office, staff room. More or less, most of the schools will have AC, right? At least for the teachers.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
That's
standard. That's standard.
Yeah, most of them, not all.
Okay, most.
Yes, and those that have staff rooms.
Okay.
Sometimes air conditioned.
Okay.
But there are some schools that is not the case.
But it's less than more, obviously, in this current time.
In this time, we could say it's more than less. And those times when they were installed, there was a need for it in terms of the principal being, located there and having to deal with visitors, etc. Staff room for when teachers after, on their downtime, lunchtime and so on. But the classrooms were not as hot as they are now. And I really want the public to spare more than a thought as to what is taking place in our nation's schools throughout Trinidad and Tobago.
Indeed. I want to take you to some developments earlier this week. I know you would have mentioned global warming. So I guess in that regard, we look at the flip side, which would be extreme weather when it comes to rain and the kind of torrential downfall. We will have very intense rain in a short period of time. And I remember the front page of The Guardian featured some of the students from St. George's up on desks, people having to roll up khaki pants. It seems like it was a disaster. So I know that, yes, there are lots of concerns with some of the renovation done there, but I'm sure we could all understand too that the weather events are indeed intense. So I want to find out firstly, what are they going to do to mitigate that situation? Are there any recommendations to help prevent or at least assist the school if there is a major downfall again? And more so, the second issue, so I'll let you touch on that. What's this talk of sabotage? I'm hearing fans are missing and the ministry is claiming sabotage from within. Walk me through those two talking points. Rain first and then the sabotage.
Well, as you rightfully said, the weather patterns are changing because of global warming. And on Tuesday, I believe it was this week, there was that phenomenon of the extreme rain, the thunderstorms, and the volume of rain that was poured down on both, and I have to say, both St. George's College and Mount Hope Secondary. The following day, Mount Hope Secondary was affected by And anytime there's any sort of rain, Mount Hope Secondary is affected by it. But what needs to be done is to ensure that the drainage within, and external to all schools are cleared, and also it allows for the amount of rain to be dispersed or out of the compound as quickly as possible. Palo Secondary is a school that is by a river, and when there's intense rain, they flood as well too. And there are a number of other schools. So the Ministry of Education should be working with the Ministry of Works and even the regional corporations to have those drainage done properly. That is external, and the ministry look at internal drainage as well.
Strong recommendation. What's happening with the fans? How do the fans walk out? 80 fans? Just ups and leave the school? What's happening there?
We have no idea about that. Our members have not reported anything, and when we asked about that, it's strange to them as well too.
Okay.
And we condemn the Ministry of Education to insinuate that our members are responsible. The staff is responsible for that. They were fans, probably, we don't know, donated by the Past People's Association. And in a case like that, they have policies and procedures to deal with it, to come out to the public and say that the staff is responsible, insinuating that the staff is responsible for the missing of the removal of those fans, whatever happened, and especially since the staff requires it at this time.
So you found the word sabotage was a bit strong for you, a little too strong?
It is not. It should be non-existent at this time, because if you look at the release and you look at what is the core issue there, the core issue was the infrastructural works, the health and safety of the occupants of the St. George's College. And to have a media release which would divert from the real issue to us, we condemn that in the strongest possible term. That's one. But two, to say that the staff is responsible for what is taking place at the school, that is irresponsible as well too. You are putting our members and the whole teaching service in that institution under fire, and to make it seem as if the situation is so grave and that the ministry has to now intervene with a school supervisor 3 to come in there and to manage these people and bring them back on track. So we condemn that in the strongest possible terms.
Indeed. Well, I want to thank you, because I know we would have had a chance to talk this week, and I would have given you that opportunity to express what's happening. I thank you. Let's stay on top of all the developments, and I'm sure we will get a chance in the near future to continue the conversation. All the best to you, President Lum Kin.
Thank you, and all the best. Enjoy the weekend.
That's right. President Lum Kin there, getting really passionate towards the end. And again, an invitation is always there, and the facility is open for members of the Ministry of Education to also give their side of the debate. So feel free, touch base. Let's probably have that conversation next week. My good friend Shira joins me for the Restaurant Week. Oh my goodness, it's back. We give thanks. It's always an exciting time, and it starts today. Shira Mohammed, live with me next.